or the temptation to force and to do stuff by power. I have to cut that down because that's not of him. It's not of him. That's about me. He's trying to feel like I accomplished something.
And that's if you something they say.
Yeah, if they say, if you say, do you want to pray? Do you want to see more of him? Or do you want to pray with me? And they go, no, I don't. Then you don't push. You don't see what I mean? Because at this point, you might be disappointed. Oh man, that's disappointing. I thought you was right there with it. I thought you was right. You see what I mean? But it is important to ask because you want them to confess with their mouth. Because the Bible says that it's important. You see what I'm saying? It's important to go. Do you want more of him? Do you want to receive him? Pray with me. And then they repeat after me, or you tell them you want to pray your own prayer, but out of their mouth is what's important.
Because you might not have answered the questions that their heart really needs to hear.
There might be more.
To make that, so it could be more later.
There could be more later. Exactly. That's right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes if you just give me a phone number at that time, well, if you change your mind.
You can do that. She said sometimes you can just give me a phone number. And not just that they change your mind, but just now to be friends then. Because sometimes people just need the fellowship. Because they've talked to people before who just wanted them to say something real quick. They never talk to that person ever again. They never hear from that person. And that's not the love of God. Do you know what I'm saying? That you just want to check on your list, that you feel like you did something. But if I build a relationship, some of these we're cultivating every day. Work, school, we see them every day. That's real. You see what I'm saying? Because now I got a real connection with you, a real relationship. I'm not going to just never see you. And so that's a good point. And am I even open to new relationships in my life? Because that's important for the good news. If I'm in a place where I ain't trying to deal with no folks at all, how I'm going to share the good news? Because who going to follow us? Who going to have a relationship with them? I'm going to call somebody else. Look, I talked to somebody today, but I gave them your number. You know what I'm saying? No. People do that. They don't know her or they don't know him. They were talking to you. People do that to me all the time. Apostle, I told them they should talk to you. Yeah. You don't want to know what's going on. You see what I mean? We got to see that the relationship is what's important. And we can't bring them to a teacher. We can bless you. We can't bring them to a congregation. The relationship is hopefully with the person that they talk to.
I think that's important. What you just said.
It is. And that's where I'm really evangelizing, by loving them in relationship, by being open and honest about my life, letting them in my life. You see what I'm saying? That's the love of God for real. I can tell you the evangelistic truth, but you can't come to my house. I don't know you like that. You just try to lead them into eternity, but they can't come to your house. You see what I'm saying? We got to think about us. You see what I mean? Am I all right? You know what I mean? Or is there something there that I need to work out? Because that's important to the whole process.
And it's also very, very important too, because that's what has driven a lot of people from churches, a lot of people from receiving the word of the Lord, that they become self-righteous. And that turns people off. They make it feel as though that there's a certain standard or way.
That's what you said. That's why you call it.
I missed something.
Yes.
The song I got that fire.
Oh yeah.
It was just a wonderful confirmation on what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm with it. I got the fire. I wrote the fire. Amen. The right fire style, but the Holy Spirit fire. Amen.
I don't remember what it was. Sorry. I think it was still there.
We didn't keep going.
You said it. What she said was so important.
Yeah, Mama's finished.
It's very, very important. Because like I said, that is why they're using this term now that the church can left the house. And so many people are going church hopping and everything else too. To not present yourself as a self-righteous person. That there's a set standard way that you got to act or whatever. And stuff. That's the people that have made themselves God. You can't do that. That turn off. You can't do that. You can't do that. You set a standard that you can't keep. Right. You set a standard that they can't keep. You can't keep the standard. But that's exactly why our God and Yeshua use the term hypocrites. Because that's what they are. They're hypocrites. And so, and you're not supposed to be that way. And see, and that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people do that in a minute, and a lot of people will also judge a person now because I'm saved, but if that person is not saved, then you know, I'm labeling them, I'm talking about them, I'm gossiping about them or whatever. So that's hypocritical.
Right.
That is hypocritical.
It is.
It's the longer you live until you die, you're gonna get. If you want to grow more in the Lord, you're gonna grow every day until you die. It's levels of it, and people don't realize that. And so when they come over that sanctimonious relationship, or like they're just plain self-righteous, they turn people off because they do what God Himself does. That's right. You can't deal with it. You can't deal with it. You shouldn't have to deal with that. No.
We don't have authority to.
I think.
Remember what you was gonna say?
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I think it's a couple of things that kind of get mixed. Sometimes,
Do a little bit louder because they can't hear.
yeah. Sometimes people think. Sometimes people are afraid that they don't know what to say, and I believe that you don't have to know what to say. It even talks about in scriptures. It says, don't worry about what you're gonna say. I know it was in a different context. It was in the context of when you go before the authorities. Don't try to think about your speech, and I think it's the same thing when you're evangelizing. If you go into it with some pre-scripted thing, then that's not authentic. You know what I'm saying? It's not authentic, and it should be authentic. It should be in the moment. It should be in the moment.
We'll pray in a minute.
And the other thing is, so don't have anything pre-scripted. What happened?
Okay, she couldn't hear you. She was
All right. Well, Myra, we're going to have to get together because I'm not going through that whole thing again. So that was one thing. The other thing is I don't remember. I got a short-term memory, so I'll come back to it.
What you did was in a summation. What you basically because I have a loud mouth.
What I was going to say was just like God told Moses, I will be with your mouth and I will teach you what to say. And that's one thing we have to, I don't have to think about what to say. I'm like, God, you said that? Tell me what to say. You can use my mouth.
And to also trust in that He could do it in that instant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like right then and there. Because a lot of times when I used to go out in the streets in Norfolk, in fact, I wasn't even looking for a person. A homeless person would come up to me in the street and say, hey, brother, can you spare some change? And I would, but then the conversation started, and it just started like, he was just talking to me, I need this money because, and he was just telling me what his life was like, and I would listen, and from there, God would start talking to me, because as he's telling me about his life, I start getting the download at that moment. I'm getting a download while he's talking to me about his life, and God is giving me the heart for that man or woman on the street. So I wasn't looking for that guy or that woman, but they intersected my path. And when they intersected my path, it was a natural thing. It wasn't like, I'm going to do this today. I wasn't looking for it, So it had to be a in the spur of the moment type deal. It had to be, I didn't have no time to prepare. All the brother said was, hey, can you spare some change? That's all that was. And from there, just do what any person, with a heart would do, is listen. Just listen to what they're going to tell you about their life. If you got the time, listen. And in that listening, God will talk to you. And He will give you something from a human perspective of just caring. And from there, it just flows like water. So that's what I'm saying. It's got to be a natural progression, and it's got to come from a heart of I genuinely care. This is another human being. They out here on the street, and the point of contact was money. They needed a little something, get something to eat, and from there they talk. They might say something to you like, hey, I appreciate that. Down on my luck. I used to have a normal life, but something happened to me, and this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, I was just hanging out anyway, whether I was going to an art gallery or something. So I had time to spare, So I would listen. And we would talk, talk just like talk with anybody, just talk with anybody. I'm not trying to do something. I'm just one human being listening to another human being, and we connected right there in that moment. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when that comes together.
So I think the key is not to discount God either. Because now, my daughter, because she's a female and alone a lot of times, she has the heart for someone that's homeless or on the corner, whatever. So what she started doing, because she's not going to stop her car and start talking to a man in an unsafe situation, but she started carrying around a cooler full of water.
There you go.
So when she sees somebody at the corner and they standing there and they want something, she's at the stoplight, she'll hand them a bottle of water because she's like, it's summertime, it's hot out there. You know they thirsty, you know that, you know, if she doesn't have food, she always has water in her car to pass out to somebody because she's like, they need something, so let me give them something, you know, to share. So that's what, you know, and that's her way of,
The point of contact.
when she can't stop and speak to someone or whatever, it's like, let me at least let them know somebody cares and give them that bottle of water or something, and that, you know, and that gives them hope.
Yeah, I'm against going out there with like in the intent of that. I go out there and just have conversation. I don't go out with the intent of I'm going to per se share the gospel in a formal way. I go out with the intent is we're gonna have a conversation. You're gonna talk about whatever you want, and I'm gonna listen to you. And if I see an opening, God showed me an opening, I will let Him tell me what to say. But if He don't give it to me, then I'm not worried about it, because He's gonna give it. He's gonna give it if that's what the purpose of that was. You know, but I don't go. If you go with the intent of it, it's too much pressure on you. It's too much. You're not listening now. You're not listening to it, and now you can't care. Because you're too busy focused on what you want to accomplish, you just killed it.
That's right. That's why I'm against the traditional evangelism.
But that's not even really the traditional way, because if you look at the prime example, which was Yeshua, it was as he went. You know what I'm saying? But what's happened is, depending on how you've been raised, like I know personally, because of the way I was brought up, in the type of church setting that I was brought up, there was more of that infiltration of the spirit of religion versus relationship. And so you have to unlearn that, you know what I'm saying? Because even if just randomly I was in a conversation that just came up, I still had to watch, because that in me, you know what I'm saying, I had to become aware of it, because the tendency would be to start preaching. You know what I'm saying? And it was just because of how I was brought up. And so even though I wasn't looking for it, or wasn't, if someone, you know what I'm saying, asked me a question, or if we were in conversation and I knew of a scripture that could address that situation, I still had to unlearn that. So it's just something we have to be self-aware too, to just, you know what I'm saying?
I do. For me, what I do is like, I look the person in the face. They're talking to me, and you can feel the emotion. They're feeling what they're talking about. If you could just be there with them in that moment, connect with them, feel their pain, listen to their story, try to picture their life, what they're telling you they went through. If you're not thinking about nothing else, you're like, man, I'm in this guy's shoes in my mind now, and you're feeling. You know, it's about now connecting on that human level, that feeling level. And that's, to me, now you're at a point where you can I want to say love can come out of you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got to come from a place of love, you know, but it's only going to come when you are able to hear their story, kind of in your mind, put yourself in their shoes, like, what would that be like? And then now it's like something happens inside you. I get these warm, fuzzy feelings for them, kind of like, man, wow, okay, I see them as a person now, and I see them like, yeah, you're just a guy on the streets, I would have passed you by, but now you're telling me a story, I'm like, man, I feel like I know a little something about you. You know, I feel like I connect with you now, and now, okay, this is one brother to another brother, you know, or brother to a sister, and now it's different. It's on a whole nother level now. Now you a person to me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's it. You know, how would you feel if it was your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your uncle, aunt, you know? That's how I person, yeah.
Well, that's what he means by do unto others you have when you do. That's the first start. That's right. Yeah.
Well, a lot of times when I'm in this situation where I'm talking to somebody about, you know, God and things like that, a lot of times it's not me really trying to help them, but a lot of times they end up helping me in that situation. Yeah. A lot of times, like if I have questions, a lot of times I hit up Darnell, because I know in a sense he knows more about it than I do. And I want to do my research. I want to just keep learning more. That's my whole goal, is just to learn more and to be closer. Now, a lot of times if I'm in a situation where, you know, for example, a couple of days ago, I had got Bell's palsy where half of my face went paralyzed. And so this happened to me before when I was 15. So when it happened, I started panicking. I got scared. So I went to the hospital. They tried to, it completely shut me down. You're fine, you're good. But it happened before I know how it felt. So when I woke up the next morning, nothing moved. So I don't know, I felt like, he was talking to me, telling me, just talk to your friends. Like I just needed somebody to talk to. So I actually reached out to a friend I haven't seen since I went to medical school. And I don't know, I felt the need to go to her house in the middle of the night. So it hit like 12 a.m. and I just showed up at her house. And while we were talking, in the midst of the whole thing, we were actually just speaking about God the whole entire time and how He brought us out of one situation to the next. And even though I'm young, I felt like in that moment He told me to go there for a reason. Not just to help her, but in the midst of it, we helped each other. In that whole entire conversation, it was just like, a lot of times we think we're listening to Him, but we don't. We don't listen to Him. We think that we are, but we really don't. And even in this whole situation, I just felt like I need to listen to Him more. He's been talking to me through my dreams, talking to me through other people, talking to me through my family, everything. So I think my biggest thing now is just listening instead of trying to do, because I'm only human. So I might be doing the wrong thing, and the whole time I'm just thinking I'm doing what He wants me to do, but in reality I'm not. So I just have to listen more. And I think that when you're going out and you're trying to help other people, you may listen and get help yourself. So
Such a good attitude. Amen.
yeah.
Well, we are gonna pray
Just let
out.
y'all know we'll be closing in 10 minutes.
Yes, thank you. That's why we about to pray. Because we know that they've been gracious, and I just bless God for this place.
Can I ask something real quick? If anybody has like an extra dollar, can we like take up like an
Yes.
extra dollar and leave it for them for
Yes, like tips.
Because they did not have to work today. They came in for us.
They stayed for us.
Yeah, they stayed for us.
Yeah.
They wanted to go home.
Yes, they did.
So I mean,
Yes.
if all of us like to put in a dollar, put it in their tip jar.
Yes,
they'll
ma'am.
tip. Those that can, if you can't, no problem. Yeah.
Amen.
Somebody got trash you want me to throw out? Somebody got trash?
It's right there by the record.